Hey, my name is Mike, and in this video, I'll be showing you how to build a beautiful and professional website in the easiest, the most affordable, and one of the most powerful ways you can actually do that. And that's a combo that we really haven't said a lot in the past because typically you had to choose between either WordPress or a website builder. Website builders like Wix and Squarespace are a lot more expensive. They're $20 to $30 per month, but they're very easy to use. On the flip side, WordPress is more affordable and significantly more powerful, but there's a steep learning curve to that, and it's not always easy for beginners. But finally, we have a solution that is in the middle, the best of both worlds, the Hostinger website builder. And this is a full-blown website builder, just like Wix and Squarespace, where it's simple, drag and drop, good for beginners, but at the same time, it's incredibly powerful and very affordable, just like WordPress. And if you ever decide, you know what, maybe you outgrew this, maybe you're very successful, you grew to a blog with 100 writers or something, and you want to migrate away from the website builder into WordPress, there's literally a button that just does that for you. It's really easy to do. That's why we think for the first time ever, it's really easy to recommend just one solution for any size website. If you're starting off as a one-page website, if you are a small business looking for a storefront, if it's a personal portfolio, because like I said, it's affordable, or if you're trying to scale up to a really large blog or even an e-commerce store, this is a great solution. And e-commerce, as a side note, is particularly interesting here because there are 0% transaction fees, which is beyond competitive with the others out on the market. With that being said, there's a lot of reasons that we really like this builder and think it's a great tool for anybody making any website today. And in this video, this is going to be a full step-by-step tutorial. So let's get started by going to santrelmedia.com/hostinger, or you can click on the link in the description. It's also in a pinned comment, or you can copy and paste that link to a new tab. That'll bring you to a page that looks something like this. This is an affiliate link, so at absolutely no cost to you. You are supporting the channel and helping to fund free videos like this one. Now, in addition to that, you're actually getting a fantastic deal on this. So let me go up here. We're going to click on Website Builder, Hostinger Website Builder, and there are two plan options. So you can see we're getting 75% off and an additional deal I'll mention in a second, but this is the best deal on the entire internet. I guarantee you will not find a better rate than what we have in that link down below. So let's click on Claim Deal. Here we have two options. It's either $3 a month or $4 a month. Either one, like I said, way better than Wix and Squarespace and the other ones that are like $20 to $30 per month. So I'm gonna actually choose the business website builder. The only difference between these, really practically speaking, is going to be the AI tools and the e-commerce features. Now, because this is a tutorial and I wanna show you all the features, I'm gonna go with this one, but decide whichever one makes the most sense for your business, for your website, whatever your needs actually are. I'm going to say choose plan. And here we have some options for how long we want to have the website. So if you know for a fact, or you're really confident that you're going to have this website for a long time, I highly recommend getting 48 months up front because we are getting a 10% discount. I'll show you that in a second. So that's 10% off the entire 4 years. In addition, you're locking down that $4 per month for the entire 4 years. And thirdly, you are getting a lower renewal rate after those 4 years are up, which is $9 a month compared to if you do 12 months, which I would recommend if you're not super confident the website's going to be around forever, but you want to try it out, then I would do 12 months. Again, you're getting $4 per month. You're still getting a free domain. You're still getting 10% off that entire year, but it will renew at $12 per month after the end of that year. The only thing I don't recommend doing is the 1 month plan. By the time you do 1 month, you're looking at $14 for the month, $5 for the setup fee, and you're going to spend another $15 to $20 for a domain. When it's all said and done, you're probably about $5 or $6 away from the full year plan, which comes with a free domain and no setup fee. So I think it's just a smart move. At the very least, go with 12 months. For this video, I'm going to go with 48 months. I think this is going to be the right choice for my business here. And now I'm going to create an account. But before you check out, it's really important that you click on have a coupon code right here and type in Santrel10, say apply, and that's giving us an additional 10% off the entire 4 years. So you're saving 74% here. This is a 4-year plan. You're getting 4 years of a website for a total of $172.37. Pretty competitive. All right, so now that we have that, there's two ways you can make your website. You can either use the AI creation tools right here, which I'll show you right now, or you can do a pre-made template, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. I think it's really important to see both before you make your decision here. So starting off with the AI tools, what kind of website are we making? Maybe I'm going to be like a local store that also wants to sell some things online, maybe like a coffee shop. Let's just say I'm a coffee shop and I sell some coffee beans online as well. So I'm going to say online store is probably a good start for this one, or maybe a restaurant. We'll say, let's go with restaurant for now, and we'll have an online store feature added later. The brand name, I'm going to say Santrel Coffee, Santrel Coffee Co., and then we can enter our description of the website. Additionally, you can click on personalization settings and you could say maybe your color palette. So if you already have your logo, for example, you can choose the accent color right here. And I highly recommend, if you haven't already done so, maybe you make your logo on Canva, for example, or anywhere else. I recommend getting the hex color code so you're not just sliding around guessing what your color is. But for the purposes of this video, let's just say we want maybe a brownish color. I'm going to copy this and save that color right there. So that's our accent color. So maybe that's my color palette right there. And I can say create the website. All right, so here we are. This is the website that Hostinger made for us. You can see we have a little video in the background, local roasted coffee, the name of it up top. We've got a home page, a menu page. We can click through these, by the way. A menu page looks, actually, I like this menu page quite a bit. That looks really good. An about page, yeah, look at that. Shows like location, some basic things like that. The home page, again, going back to that, some reviews down there, services, contact us. Yeah, this looks really good. This is a really good start. We can also check out the mobile site, and that, again, looks very similar. Also really good. I'm very impressed with this. I think this is really good, and I'm very tempted to just click edit site, but I want to show you something else really quick. If we go back to AI form, we can also go to pre-made templates. So instead of that, you can go to pre-made templates here, like I said, and choose from a lot of other ones that were already pre-designed. And all you really have to do then is look at, what you like, swap out the text, swap out the images, and maybe change the colors. And it could be an easier way for some people to get a slightly different feel on your website. So if you really like this one, for example, like at the very least, it's worth checking out these templates. So for this website, I'm going to start with, let's look for anything related to coffee, any kind of coffee website here. It looks like this one looks really good. A cafe looks pretty good as well. All right, so it doesn't matter which one you choose, either the AI website builder or the templates. And by the way, if you ever wanted to go back, templates, you could just click this button right here. No matter which one you choose, the rest of this video is going to be the same. This is really just the starting point. I'm going to go with this one right here. I'm going to select this template, just click on select template, and that is going to create that as our website. That brings us right into the builder. And I want to give you guys a quick rundown, the layout of the land here, how this is actually set up. This is using what's called a section layout, a very common layout for websites, where you can see this all outlined in blue right here is one section. Down here, this is all one other section. You can see outlined in the blue box when you hover over it. And then this is the next section down here. Within each section, you have elements. So right here, we have just some text. That's a very simple one. Down here, we have two different columns, mostly two different columns of other text. So lots of different text boxes popping up here. We have a button. Other ones maybe have an image. For example, this one right here has an image over there. And within each section, if you want to move anything around, because this is a website builder, it's actually very easy to do. So if I decide I want this image a little bit more to the right, I can click on it and I can just drag it over to the right. Very easy to do. You'll also see that things snap to a grid. So as I slide this around, you'll see the little blue lines popping up. It's essentially trying to align itself to a grid on this specific section. And if you wanted to edit the grid on this section, or really anything about this section, we can click on section. On the right side, you'll see this pops up. We can edit the section. We can duplicate the section. We can hide the section. And I'll talk about those in a second. But editing the section, first of all, changing that grid. If we go to layout, you can choose the row height and the row gap, essentially what that grid looks like when you're dragging this around on where you want things to snap to. But some other things we can edit with this section right here. Like I said, click on edit section. You can change the background. Right now, it is just a basic color. You could also make it an image if you wanted to have just an image in the background and make that. Let me show you something in a second. If we go to images, let's upload a file. Now let's just say this is not going to be a great example, but just to show you, having an image in the background like this makes things not very readable. So you can actually change the opacity of that. So you can make it more opaque or less opaque. So it kind of blends into that background just like that. In addition, you can have what's called a fixed background, which gives you a parallax effect. Right now, when we scroll, nothing happens. It moves. If we say fixed background, as we scroll, everything moves past it. It's kind of a cool effect that can really look nice on your website. In addition, you could have a video here, similar tools. You can change the opacity, you can change fixed background or not, but I'm just going to go with a basic color. I think that works well for this specific section. Now, that's the background. The layout, as I mentioned, we can choose the snap to the grid if we want to have that. And of course, we have anchor over here. An anchor is going to be if you ever want a button to link to a certain part of the page, so link over to this page and scroll down to right here, we can make an anchor. So let's just call this anchor can be bread. Let's just call this anchor bread. And now if anyone ever goes to this website, this link right here, it'll go to the page and it'll scroll down to right here. So if you have one long home page and you have your prices as like one section in there, that would be a good example of where you want an anchor. There's a lot that we're going to cover in this video, but that's the fundamentals of what a section is and what is in that section. Before I go through the other things with this section, let's talk about kind of customizing this section. So any element that we want to change, we can either double click on it and you can change the text, for example. So maybe we could say, we love coffee. And within that, you can change, of course, the type of font. So you can change it if it's bold, not bold, italic, whatever. You can change the font. I don't recommend doing that right now. We can change that for our entire theme. And of course, you can see if you want to change it to like a heading 2, is a little bit bigger, heading 1, heading 3, different things like that. Down here, similarly, because this is just regular text, we can double click it and we can change everything about this. We can type other things in here. And again, we have a lot of the same tools as well as a couple others. So if we wanted to link the sourdough recipe right here, say highlight sourdough recipe, we can link to another page. We can link to a web address, an email, contact us type stuff. And if you say page, you can choose a page on your own website. So maybe this one just links over to the contact page because I don't have a specific article yet about sourdough bread. So I'm going to say save. And of course, by the way, you could choose if that wants to open in a new tab or open in this tab right here. Now, thirdly, the image over here, if we wanted to customize that image, we can edit the image. We could generate a new image. So let's actually generate an image. Let's just say coffee shop. So let's just create an image and see what it comes up with. And by the way, the AI image generator, in my opinion, is one of the easiest ways to get your website up and running. Just makes it so much faster to not have to go and take all your photos. Eventually, you can take your own photos, and I recommend that, but this could just be a really quick way to get started. So maybe this photo looks good. I can click on that, add it in right there, and that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to close out of this, and we have our image right there. Now, if we wanted to add anything else to this section right here, we can do so over on the left side. Now, I will go through all of these, but first, add element. There are a lot of different elements you can add here. We talked about text, we talked about images, and we talked about, essentially just subtext. So titles and paragraphs are both text, just different kinds of text. But the next one is maybe a button. So if we want to have a button in here, you can just click and drag this over, and we're going to drop a button right there. Now this button, of course, you could resize it. You can move it around. This is very familiar. I think a lot of people would be quite used to this format for adjusting this. If we double click on that, we can choose what it's going to link to and what actually says on there. So we could say order now, and this could link over to maybe our menu, for example, in a new tab. So if we go over to style, we can change the color of this. We can change the text color. We can choose which font we want in there, the size of the font, and of course the border radius. I think having a boxed off radius just doesn't really look particularly good. I'm going to add more of a rounded radius on there. I think that looks really quite good. I'm going to close out of this, and now we have our button. The font looks pretty small. Let's edit that really quick. Let's go to style. Font size can be a little bit bigger. Let's make it like that. And there we go. Now we have a nice big button right there. Let's kind of reorient that so it's in the middle. And that looks good. But now, before we get into any more elements, I think it's really important to talk about the style, the overall theme, the layout of this website. So on the left side, if we go down a little bit, you'll see website styles. This is where we can change the color scheme, the fonts, and everything else, which is very important to do as early as possible in your website building, because you want to make sure that, for example, let's go to fonts right here. As we change different things about the fonts and the colors, things might move around, and it's going to create more work if you build your website and then change the font and the colors and then have to reorient everything after that. Let's say for this website, maybe I like this font right here. That looks pretty good. You can see some things did move around a little bit, but once we choose that font, I'm not going to change it for the rest of the website, and I can now customize everything on the website and don't have to worry about changing this later and moving everything around. If we click on colors, of course, we can choose all the different colors that we used. For example, this one right here, if you wanted to swap out that color for, let's just say, a darker one, maybe we want something that is a darker brown, maybe something like that, we can say accept, and that'll swap it out for, you can see in that text right there, that's where it was used. Now, this is used particularly often for text. I don't want that. I'm going to make this black. We'll make that black again. And maybe down here, this could actually change over to that darker brown. We'll say accept. And now this color, this button down here is actually brown. We can choose anything about buttons if we want them to have more of a radius on them. I kind of do like that. The pill shape is also very popular, a little bit more modern. So maybe we want them to look a little bit more like that. I like that. And then animations, you can choose what's happening as you scroll through your page, as pages load. Fade is usually what I go with. It's just very simple, but browse through these and see which one makes the most sense for you. Now we have our website style set up. We have some of the website kind of customized, but there's still a lot more that we need to do with this. So let's talk about if you wanted to move sections around or add a new section. Within each section, you can see when that pops up right there, we have the option to duplicate it, which you can see does exactly what you think. We could delete a section, again, does exactly what you think, or we can move it up and down. So if we hover over the section, click on it, if it doesn't pop up right away, we can move this one down. You'll see it moves it down here, or we can move it back up to where it was, right there. Additionally, if you wanted to copy it and put it somewhere else, you can click more, you can say copy section, and then we can go down here. So say maybe like way down here, we want to have that again. We could click here and say paste section. So it drops it down here. That saves you the effort of duplicating it and then hitting the down arrow like 4 or 5 times until it goes down to where you want. I'm going to delete that. I don't need another section down there. But if I wanted to add a blank one, as you might expect, I'll click on add section. There are a lot of pre-made sections that Hostinger gives us. You can see tons of different ones based on like an about page, for services, contact form. Very easy to do all of these without having to kind of build it from scratch. However, you could build it from scratch if you really wanted to with a blank section, or another option is to generate a section using AI. Let's just ask it to make an About Us section. And I wrote a little bit about, what the coffee store or the coffee shop is really meant to be. So let's just see what it comes up with now. All right, that's a good start. I don't really know what this blue box is for, a little button here. I'm going to delete that. Seems like maybe a little quirk here. Let's make this image a little bit wider. I'm not really sure what that image is right there, but whatever. I'm going to keep it there for now. So scrolling up, now we have a lot going for this website. A lot of it looks really good. We know how to edit everything. We can go in here and add our own things. So maybe instead of bagels, we have muffins, and maybe they are like $4.50. And we can go through and like one by one change everything about this. That is something that you can do after you finish watching this video. And it's very straightforward. I'm not going to waste your time retyping an entire fake menu here. But let's talk about some other elements we have available. On the left side, if we click on add elements, you can see we have the text, the button, the images. Gallery is going to be a bunch of images, of course. Video acts a lot like an image, but there are some other things we have down here. You can add an Instagram feed. You can add a subscribe button, a contact form, your social icons. You can add little shapes. You can add a map, and you can add product search. I don't really recommend adding product search. I don't really think, unless you have a huge product library, that it really makes sense to do that. And you could add an AI assistant if you wanted to. Personally, I really don't like that on websites when it pops up, so I'm not going to add that. And lastly, you could actually embed code. So if you have some other tool that is not here that you wanted to incorporate, maybe you make a form on Brevo or on MailChimp or somewhere else, and you just wanted to embed that with code, you could very easily do that by clicking and dragging the embed code option over here. So let's just say maybe you wanted to add an Instagram feed. I'm just going to click and drag Instagram feed. So Instagram feed, click and drag that over here, and we'll drop it right there. We can also resize this, so it's pretty cool. You can drag it over this way, drag it over this way. We've got our Instagram feed right here. And maybe if I want to resize this section, we can click on that and click the little down dragger right there for section height, which, by the way, I haven't actually shown you that before, but you can resize sections with that right there. And then for this, we can click on it. We'll say edit feed. And we can connect our own Instagram. You'll sign into your Instagram, and then your feed will be showing up here, which I think is really beneficial to keep everything up to date without having to go on your website all the time and post updates about, are you open today? Are you closed today? Like different things, different sales and promos. Having it all on Instagram and then just showing your Instagram on your website can make it really easy to kind of save yourself some work there. Okay, so we're not done yet. On the left side, we have another thing right here, pages and navigation. So far, we've only been editing our main home page here. We have 3 other pages. If you click on any one of them, it'll bring you over to that page and you can edit that page. Very easy to do, same editing tools we had before, but that's how you can navigate between them. In addition, if you wanted to kind of orient how they are on the top, so you can see it's menu, contact, book a table. As you can see, left to right equates to top to bottom. So if we wanted to have book a table at the very first item on the left, we can drag that up to the top, and you'll see book a table moves over to there. We have home, which is hidden from navigation. If we wanted to show that in navigation, which you don't really need to because anyone could just click on the logo and that goes home. But if you wanted to show it, you can click and drag this up to show in navigation, main navigation. Home is now there as well. And if we wanted to kind of make a sub page right there, so maybe menu is a sub page of home, you just click and drag it over to the right, just like that. And now when someone hovers over home, menu pops up below that. So that's kind of a cool way to have more items on the top without having a really large and clustered menu. You could just have drop downs very easily. So if we wanted to add other pages or other links on here, we can add other items very simply. So let's say we want to add maybe our YouTube channel. I'm going to click on add a link. This new link is going to be called YouTube. It is going to be a web address, and this can be youtube.com/Santrel Media. And this can open in a new tab. It could be a no follow link, and we can say save. So YouTube's right there. Let's click and drag that up and bring it over. So let's bring it over now. So it is next to the menu in a drop down. And there's other links we can add as well. So if we wanted to have like call us, we could say call now, and we could say page. This could be a phone number. And we could add a phone number here. We could say save. And now call now is going to be a button that when somebody taps on that on like their phone, for example, it'll bring them into their actual phone app, and they'll be able to, just dial right away. It pre-populates their phone app. So that's how you can customize the menu on the top. Now let's actually say add page. There's a lot of other, of course, no surprise here, pre-built pages that you can use. So if you wanted to have a services page, if you want to have a projects page, great for like personal portfolios. Or of course, if you wanted to add a blog, we can do that as well. So I'm going to add a blog. We're going to add a blog page here. We'll just call it blog, and we're going to save that. So now we have a blog page right here. In the blog, we have a couple different posts. So we might as well talk about how to set up our blog right now. On the left side, if we click on blog, you'll see the 5 or 6 posts that it just populated right there. So 5 posts, no, 6, there's a 6th one. The 6 posts that it made right there are all just generic, like, hold the space holders essentially. We can delete all of those by clicking on the 3 dots and just deleting them. So let's click on the 3 dots again and delete that one. We're going to remove all of these. I don't think we need the dummy posts right now. And we're going to actually make our own first blog post here. So I'm going to get rid of that one as well. We'll keep one just as a space holder for now, a placeholder. And you'll see we can have all of our blogs, our drafts, our scheduled ones. So if you have one that's going live when an embargo for a new product maybe lifts tomorrow, if you're like a tech blog, then you could have a scheduled post and it'll go live exactly when that embargo lifts. Let's go back to all and say add a new post. And this one is going to be, first of all, you can create it with AI if you wanted to, which can be nice to kind of get the ball rolling, to get a nice starting point here. I'm going to say this is going to be a neutral tone. This can be 800 to 1,000 words. Additionally, if you didn't want to write it with AI, you could just say skip, I'll write it myself. But I'm going to say create content. Let's just see if it can make a blog post about some major styles of coffee, like Arabica and things like that. So let's see what it does, creating content. All right, so it has an image on the top, introduction to coffee beans, and you can see overall, not my favorite formatting, but definitely not bad at all. This is really quite impressive. These AI tools have really gained a lot of ground over the past year or two since they first came out. And depending on when you're watching this video, this could even be significantly better than it is right now. But regardless, looking at this, I may want to go through here and edit it a little bit, add some bold text, add some images here and there, and kind of reformat it a little bit. It's really quite easy to do that, but all things considered, this is a really good start for a blog article. Something to keep in mind though, of course, if you are trying to rank on Google, I would recommend going through and kind of rewriting a lot more in your own words as opposed to using the AI tool here. Just because if you want to rank in Google, a lot of times it's better to have your own writing compared to AI writing. But this is definitely a really great start to this blog article here. So I like this. I like where it is right now. Of course, we can say save on the top, always save. It's auto saving, but I click save as frequently as possible, just in case anything happens. You don't want to lose your work. That is going to be how we can set up a blog right here. Going over on the left side, we also have an online store. Another great feature that, as I mentioned before, has the big benefit of not having any transaction fees. Of course, you have like your credit card processing fee, but nothing from Hostinger, 0% transaction fee, which is really going to, affect your margins pretty significantly here. I'm going to click on Add Store just to show you how this works. So the store right now, we have a bunch of dummy products. As it did with blogs, it's adding dummy products here as well. We can get rid of those a little bit later, but let's go back to this page here, and it kind of walks us through the setup. So adding a product, adding payment method, updating the details, and adding shipping options. Really, 3 of those are the most important. Company details, not a huge deal there. So let's start off by adding a product. The first product we want to add, maybe it's just some coffee beans. Maybe this is going to be like a 1-pound bag of coffee beans. So United States, currency US dollars, I will say continue, and we're going to add our first product. If you already had a store somewhere else, I assume you wouldn't be watching this video if you already made several websites, but you could import products if you have them, I don't know, somewhere else, if you made like a GoDaddy or a Wix or something else website. Anyway, we have a lot of different ways we can set up this product. So you can have digital products, if it's an ebook, if it's an audio file, if it is a PDF, if it's anything like that that is downloadable, you can have a digital product here. You could have a service, maybe a yoga class, if you have barista sessions, whatever, teaching somebody how to do things, anything, maybe sampling, you can do that as a service here. You can have appointments, and we will set up appointments in a minute. I think that's very beneficial for anybody who has really a lot of local businesses. I'm talking dentists, doctors, physical therapists, barbers, nail salons, tons of local businesses have scheduling, and appointments could really be a good way to have people purchase it online. Once they pay, they're way more likely to actually show up to the actual appointment. And donation, if you have a fundraiser, it's always nice you can have that set up here as well. So let's start off with a physical product. We're going to add media, and I'm just going to upload, let's just say this image right here, just some random image of coffee. We can create everything using AI based on the image. So let's actually see what it does right now. This is really interesting. AI tools are really kind of everywhere. Some of them are great, some of them are not great, and it's always worth just testing them out. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, this is very likely to change anyway. So this right here, new arrival, premium coffee beans. Actually, that's exactly what I was looking for. So let's say one pound premium coffee, subtitle, and then we have that right there. We've got a little description down here, and then we can add additional information down here. So if you wanted to add anything else, you can add that down here. And then the pricing, we have, let's say it's going to be like $8. You can add a discount. So you could say maybe it's like $7 now, discounted price, $7.57. We can have our own SKU here. So 10,001, and the weight is 16 ounces. We can also have options as well. So if we wanted to have different sizes, so size, we can have like 1 pound, we can have 2 pounds, 4 pounds. So maybe 4 different options there. We can have those different variants, or 3 different options there. Let's close out of that. And we can have custom fields as well. So maybe if you have like an insert and it's just like a card and it's like to Natalie or whatever, then you can have that included right here. Or you can also have like engravings or embroidery or anything else that's going to be custom. You can have the custom fields added right there. If we want to add categories, we don't actually have any categories set up just yet. I'm going to save this product first, save the product. And now we can actually make a category if you wanted to. So on the left side, you'll see categories here. Let's make our first category and call this one coffee grounds and beans. Coffee grounds and beans. We can have a product. Let's add this product in here for now. We'll say save, and we can say save. Okay, great. Let's go back to products. Now within products, we have a lot of products that are just dummy products that were added in there. So I'm going to click on one at a time, select all of the products that we want to get rid of, the hat, the hand soap, all this other stuff, and then we're just going to delete them. Let's click on delete. And now we're just back down to the product that we actually wanted to include. There's our first product. Let's add another product, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the other options here. Maybe a digital product is going to be, you can call this coffee recipes. Then we can upload an image right here. I don't actually have an image of this ebook that we're talking about right now, so I'm just going to upload just this image right here. And the actual file that you're going to upload, the media, like the music file, the image, if it's like you're selling wallpapers, for example, the ebook, PDF, whatever it is, goes all the way down on the bottom. You can see file right here. Click on upload file. Again, I don't actually have a recipe ebook. I just made that up, but I'm going to upload maybe this right here. We're going to say open, and that's going to be the file that somebody can download when they actually make this purchase. So maybe the price is going to be $2.95 just for this little ebook here. We don't need to have a SKU, but you could say 10,002. You could also make it free as well if you wanted to just like collect emails on this, make a checkout page, but it's free. But regardless, I'm going to not track quantity, obviously, because I can't really think of an example of where you would track quantity with digital products. So I'm not going to do that. Obviously for this product right here. Same tools we had before. If you want to add other info sections, you could do that. Add it to a category if you wanted to do that. I'm going to say save, and now we have our second product. Let's move on to a third product. This one is going to be the appointment, as I mentioned before. So let's enable appointments, and we can do that over on the left side, but it's adding it as a product right here. So let's actually start off by uploading media. So let's go with this image right here, and this could be barista classes, which, by the way, I actually don't know if any coffee shops do barista classes. I know there's like cocktail making classes for more alcoholic beverages, but I feel like a barista class would be kind of fun. I personally would like to do that. Anyway, going down here, we have the pricing. So maybe this is going to be like $45 per person. This is an amount. And everything else looks good to me. Time and place, this can be location, Santrel Coffee Co., South Street, Philadelphia. Duration, 60 minutes. Appointment conditions, tell us like an hour beforehand. And we can edit the availability as well. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. is the standard. That's kind of what it gives us by default. I'm going to leave it on that, and I'm going to say save. So now we have all these different products on here, but if we wanted to manage them on the left side, so let's go back to that appointments thing that I was just talking about. Let's click on appointments, and you can see here, if you wanted to say, hey, I'm not going to be around on Thursday or Friday, we can block some time. So we could say, hey, maybe on Friday, I'm unavailable. I'm just not available on Friday because I'm traveling. So nobody's going to be booking that when I'm not around. We can also edit the availability by day, like I said. So if you're just never around, or on Wednesdays, maybe you have like trivia night or something, you can end at 3 o'clock and nobody's going to be booking any later than 3 o'clock there. We also have quite a few other things on the left side. So kind of going through these, the dashboard, as I said, let's close out of that. We already set up our product. We do need to set up payments. So to do that, you can either click on add payments here or go down to payments, and we can add it all right here. There are quite a few ways to accept payments. Manual payments would be like cash on delivery. So somebody comes and picks it up and they just pay you when they get there. They can order online, pay you in person, or you have Stripe. So this is going to accept basically every payment method out there. Credit cards like Amex, Discover, Visa. We also have Google Pay, Apple Pay, a lot of things accepted with Stripe. I highly recommend setting that up. And you can set up multiple as well, by the way. So PayPal is probably the easiest to set up. You can just say connect, sign into your PayPal account, and then it's ready to go. It's connected. Then we can say allow and just make sure that PayPal is connected successfully. We can add our customer support email and then some basic beneficial owner stuff right there. And now we have our first payment method set up. So anyone can order and just pay with PayPal. Again, set up Stripe. I recommend going through that. It's going to walk you through the process, and I'm not going to do that right now in this video. Products here, if we want to manage products, of course, like I just showed you. Categories, we already made a category, but if you wanted to remove a category or add other ones or anything, you can do that here. Orders, when somebody places an order, you will see that show up right down here. And then of course we go down to appointments. I already showed you how to manage everything there, but discounts, this is really interesting. So if we add discount codes, we can do it either as a percentage or as a fixed amount. So percentage, maybe this is going to be fall 10. This can give us a 10% discount applied to maybe just specific categories. Maybe this is just going to be the coffee grounds. That's the only category it really applies to, or it could be all products as well. You can limit the total number of uses. So you can say like 1 use per customer, or you can say like 100 total uses. So if you're sponsoring somebody and it's like Santrel 10 or 20 and it's like good for the first 100 users, that's how you'd set that up. Or you could say a minimum MOQ on this. So they have to order at least $25 worth of products to get that right there. You can also have a start and an end date if you wanted to. Have this something that is only for like Black Friday, for example. You can have that preset right here. So I could say save, and that's how you set up your discounts there. When we go down to marketing, this is great because you can set up ads on TikTok, on Google, on Meta, so Facebook and Instagram right there, or on Pinterest. And it's really easy to connect all of them just by going to ads right here. It'll open it in a new tab. I highly recommend instead, I have links down in the description below that can help you set up those ads. So you don't have to click on those links. Instead, go in the description of this video and check out my tutorial on how to set up TikTok ads, as well as Facebook ads, Google ads, and I think we might actually have an Instagram ads one as well. I'll link that in the description of this video. Otherwise, if you go to settings, there are a couple other things we can change. The store details is going to be what we already put in there. The company information, such as your location, the name, and the logo. We haven't actually done that yet. So let's upload our logo. There is a logo generator within Hostinger as well if you wanted to use that, but I'm just going to use a logo that I already have here. And that's the good old Santrel logo. Company name, Santrel Coffee, Santrel Coffee Co. We can have our contact details down here. We can save that. Then the shipping details. This is incredibly important if you have anything e-commerce related and you want to charge shipping. So if you don't have digital products and appointments, if instead you're selling an actual product and you're shipping it, let's create a zone. And so this could just be USA. We could add a country for anything in, well, not everyone. Let's not do everyone. Let's find the United States and we can save that. The shipping options, this could just be free shipping. You could also add other options as well. So you could have it at a certain price. This could be standard shipping, which is like $3.99, and this could be based on anything under $25. It's going to be $3.99 for shipping. So we'll say okay. And then this one, let's kind of edit this and make sure that the conditions are that it is at least $25.01 minimum order price. There we go. So now it'll choose anything up to $25. They pay that. Otherwise, it's free shipping. That's a cool way to kind of set that up very, very easily. Then we have the checkout page over here. If you want to add the terms and conditions, if you want to add a privacy policy, I recommend adding both of those right here. You can make a page on the site and just kind of, I don't know, ask ChatGPT to give you a good head start on that. Otherwise, consult with your attorney and set those up properly. We could also require phone number at checkout, and you could add custom fields as well. If you wanted to have like birthday, for example, birthday, and this could be a mandatory field as well. Let's save that. And of course, set up taxes based on where you are. So this could be by state and different things like that to charge, whatever the appropriate sales tax is for the respective products you're selling. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you within the store builder right here, the store manager, as you can see on the top. Let's go back to my websites. That'll bring you to the hosting your dashboard. You can see this is the website that we've been working on, but you'll notice we don't have a domain yet. We have gone this long without setting up a proper domain on this website. Let's set up a domain. So let's say connect right here. And the domain that we want, you can choose really any domain that's available. Let's say santrelcoffeeco.com. See if that's available. It is available, $0 for the first year. Or we could say santrelcoffee.co. That'd be kind of cool too if that was available. Also available, santrelcoffee.com. Again, also available. I'm going with santrelcoffee.com. It's going to be free for the first year. I will say next. This can be setting up for myself or for the organization, whatever you choose right here. We'll say next step, asks for some information about you, and we can say finish registration. By the way, now you should actually go over to your email and you should see a confirmation email. You want to make sure that you click confirm to confirm your email address so your domain is actually set up correctly. Now we have santrelcoffeeco.com. So let's edit the website. Let's go back to editing that website. There's a couple things we want to change now related to the settings. We have a lot that I like about this website. We have a pretty good look for the website. We have our blog, we have our e-commerce. If we go to more settings, there are a number of other things that we can customize down here. One is going to be general settings. So we don't have a good icon on the top. Right now, we just have the Hostinger icon up there. It's called your Favicon. And if we say update, we can change the image to our logo. I highly recommend you change it to your logo. So I'm going to go to images. Let's upload an image. And again, I'm going to choose the white logo right here. We'll say open. And now when somebody goes to our website, the Santrel logo is going to show up at the very top. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to save changes. I think that is very, very important that every website does that. Considering many people might not be in dark mode, I'm going to change that to the blue logo actually. So upload images, blue logo, open, select, and there we go. That's going to show up right there. Save changes. We also have the link preview image. So if somebody shares our link, it's going to show a certain image right there for the website. That's going to be something that you'll see if somebody sends it by like iMessage, for example, you'd see this right here. So let's add an image. And maybe for this, we want to have a coffee image. We're going to upload an image and maybe this one right here will be just fine. Select that. Yeah, that looks good enough. I'm going to save changes. The cookie banner, you can change anything with that. If you wanted to enable cookie banner, add some disclaimer text, and you could include www if you wanted to. Realistically, I'd never do that on websites. I'm happy to not leave it there. So I just leave that toggled off. Other settings though. So let's close out of this. Click on the three dots again. General settings, we're good. Integrations, this can actually integrate with a lot of other tools out there. I highly recommend you set up Google Analytics. This is like the most important one you could do. So in a new tab, if you go to Google and look for Google Analytics, you can just click on this and that will have you set it up. It's going to connect to your Google account and then you'll just enter your Google Analytics ID right here. And that way you can tell what's happening on your website, what the traffic actually looks like, what pages are being visited, who's going where, what's actually happening, and learn a lot more about your website. If you're doing any advertising on Meta or Facebook or Instagram, you'll have a Facebook pixel. This is where you can add that. I talk about that in my Facebook ads video. So this is going to be where you'll actually paste your pixel ID. Similarly, if you have Google AdSense, if you want to run ads on here, you can set that up down here. And those are really the integrations that you will be working with. Going over to the left, the three dots again, and continuing down, we now have form submissions. So if anybody is going to be submitting the form, if we have a subscriber or a contact us form, you'll see all of that right here. I'm not going to talk too much about that right now. It's something that I would personally rather set up through something like Brevo or MailChimp or some other platform. And then as I mentioned before, just go to add and add some code. So embed some code like this, and you can add some embedded code for that specific page, for like a form, a contact form or something like that. You can add that right here. So let's actually get rid of that. It looks kind of bad right now. Back to the more settings. Next, we have analytics. Analytics is cool once you start having more stuff on your website, once you actually publish it, which brings me to my next point. This website has not yet been published. Although it's saved, and we can save it again. It's always saved right there. It's actually not live yet. So it's currently in coming soon mode, or it's actually not even that. It's just a private website right now, but I'm going to say go live. So we'll click on go live, and it's going to publish the website to our domain. There we go. It is now live. So we can go to a new tab. Actually, our domain's not connected. We have the domain. Let's make sure that's connected. Click on connect domain. Okay, so right now it says domain not connected, but if we just copy this into a new tab, I'm not sure why it's saying this. It is connected. Our website looks just fine. It's working. It's connected. Everything's okay. So we can just ignore that little thing right there. Maybe it's just because I haven't confirmed my email address just yet. I'm going to go back though to where we were in the editor here. And again, we have that set up. Let's check out the mobile site again. This needs a little bit of work, so we can customize this in a minute. For example, maybe if I want to hide this right here, I can click on hide or show, and we can hide it on mobile. It looks too wordy on mobile. I don't really like that. We can scroll down. Everything else looks good. I don't want to hide anything else. I think this is all pretty solid. So let's update the website, update website. And that was kind of subtle right there. I don't want to actually brush over that too quickly. Let's go back to desktop and just kind of showing you again what I did right there. If you click on any section, or if you hover over a section and click on the hide/show, you can choose if they're both showing on mobile and desktop, or maybe this section is only on mobile and not on desktop, or maybe only on desktop and not on mobile. That way you kind of have two different websites for anyone going there on their phone or even an iPad versus anyone going there on a laptop or a desktop. I think that's very important. Now let's click on more settings again. I know we kind of keep going over to this, but there's a lot in here that I think is really important to kind of dive into. The next one is going to be your SEO settings, essentially how you can show up on Google. Ranking on Google is going to be incredibly important for most businesses out there as one of the best ways to get free traffic from people who are genuinely very interested and probably looking for you. So SEO settings, we're going to click on that. And this may seem intimidating at first, but there's a lot we can do here to make this a bunch of green check marks and make sure that our website is found by Google, is found by Bing, is found by whatever other search engines out there, and shown to the right viewers. So the AI SEO assistant, I'm just going to start off by trying that. We're going to click on that. The brand name, Santrel Coffee Co. Next step. Next step is going to be choosing the keywords. There we go. We'll say next step again. Premium coffee shop in South Philadelphia. And we'll say finish. So there we go. A little bit of our SEO is kind of built out right there. We can see some check marks right there. SEO title should focus more on the keywords, so we can kind of customize what our keywords are that we're targeting and go through everything individually and kind of change each page, making sure that we have the SEO set up properly for that. So make sure you have a good name for the page. Make sure you have a good description, a meta description there, and things like that. So that's going to ultimately help you rank on Google. It's very, very important. Going back to here though, multi-language is really cool. Media library, I don't really need to talk about that. That's just all the images that you did upload. And the AI assistant, again, something that I don't personally really want to use. I don't really like having that on there, so I'm not going to use that. But like I said, the multi-language option here, if you are somebody that has either multiple languages in your region, so maybe Spanish and English might both be around in Philadelphia, alternatively other countries, if you want to have a blog that reaches other countries, you can choose your starting language. So for me, it's going to be obviously English. We can choose the flag for this one. So English right there. We can add Espanol now. So if we want to have Spanish as well, we can add that. And we can choose a flag. So you'll see that'll show up on the very top. And for each one, if you just click on it, you can change. So it says like contact ES. So it's a little bit different there. But if I just click on this one here, so if I click on that, so maybe you just have like, I don't know, I don't really know Spanish, but like delicioso. Let's add that right there. And that'll show up on our Spanish website, but not on our English website. So if somebody goes and they navigate over to the English website, you'll see it changes the text that's actually showing up right there. That's a really cool feature that, again, you don't really see on a lot of other builders, at least not very easy to get to, whereas over here, it's right there. Managing backups, in case anything ever happens to your website, I recommend setting up backups. It should be doing this automatically daily, and they're stored for 30 days. So if anything happens, if you break your website by accident, which is honestly very difficult to do on a builder, but if you did, you could just roll back to a backup from yesterday or something like that. Let's go back to the editor, and then down here you'll see this is the one feature I mentioned before. you can export all of the content to WordPress. So if you ever do outgrow this, say you have blog posts that you want to customize more, you want more plugins, you want more integrations, you want whatever, just the next level, and you're ready for that learning curve and you want to go over to WordPress, you can do that very easily within this right here. And like I said, Hostinger is also a host for WordPress, very similar pricing. So that's why I think it's really nice if you ever do want to migrate over, but you don't necessarily have to do that. All right, so a couple other things that we can talk about that I haven't mentioned earlier. I kind of just remembered these right now. If I go and add, let's say 2 elements, I'm going to add a shape. The shape maybe is like right there. And let's add another element that's going to be maybe just another shape. We can add another shape, drag it over to here, and we can change the shape. Let's make this one like a star and make this one a different color, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Change the color to red. And you can see this one is on top of that one. If you ever wanted to reorder things, just click on it, click on the 3 dots, and we can say bring this one to the front. Or we can bring this one forward, backward. You can move things around, send backwards, or send all the way to the back. That's kind of a cool thing that is a little bit of a hidden feature there, but it could be very frustrating if you don't know how to do that. That's a feature that I think you might find very helpful. Last but not least, if we go up to the very top left, just kind of highlighting this again before I go to the last thing I want to talk about, you can switch between the website manager and the store manager. So remember, those are kind of 2 different interfaces. The store manager is where you can find your products, your payments, different things like that. The website manager is really going to be where you customize the details of your actual website. And if we go back to the dashboard right here, you can see the overview. They show us, we've completed basically all the steps right there. Anything else you might want to find right here, some suggestions are showing up there. Or we can go back to Hostinger, hpanel.hostinger.com, and that brings you to this page right here where you can, manage things about your hosting. You can manage things about your domain. You can add a custom email. We can manage a lot of other things on here as well. So let's, for example, go to emails. This is one that I think every business really should be doing. I mean, a Gmail is like one thing you could do. You could do like santrelcoffeeco@gmail.com, but I think most people would probably want to be like mike@santrelcoffeeco.com. It's way more professional. If you're reaching out to suppliers, if you're working with anybody out there, having an email that is from a legitimate business with your domain, your website, I think really goes a long way. So I'm just going to say get business starter plan. We're going to do this for, 48 months if you wanted to. 1 account is all we need. And I'll say complete payment. And again, this is something that you don't necessarily have to do, but it's something that I highly recommend doing. There's also other ways to get your email set up. You could just go directly through Google Workspace, for example, but I'll say start now here. We have a domain that we like. I'm going to choose this domain. We want to have it say mike@santrelcoffeeco.com. I can enter a password. We'll say create, just a business starter plan with 10 gigabytes of storage. We can say finish setup. And now we just go to email dashboard. It was actually really easy to set that up. So we should be good to go with that. Then if you click on send your first test email, it'll open up Hostinger mail right here. So we can enter our password, we can log in, and this is where you can manage all of your email. So it's not a G Suite here. This is through Hostinger, which is going to be a little bit cheaper. Like I said before, if you wanted to, you could also just go to workspace.google.com. I believe that's the domain, and it brings you to this page right here. And Google Workspace, if you get started with this, you can just order it. I think it's usually like $12 to $15 per month, and you could set it all up through this. It is going to be a little bit more work to point your domain over to this. Not impossible though, actually really not even that difficult at all. There's plenty of content on YouTube showing you how to do that, but through Hostinger, if you're like a small business, you don't do a lot of emailing, this could be a great way to get it set up for an extra like $1 or $2 per month just to have your own email, as opposed to $12 per month or more as you'd pay with Google Workspace. So I don't know, I thought that was really cool. If you want that, definitely check that out right here. Otherwise, that's everything I wanted to show you in this video about how to set up a website and more using Hostinger's website builder. I appreciate you all for watching the video this long, and I wish you the best of luck with your website. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, or just let me know what you're using your website for. Is it like a fundraiser? Is it an online store? Like, what are you doing with your website? I would love to hear it from you in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike O'Brien with Santrel Media, and I'll see you in the next video.